of Delta Sigma Theta. And I was joking earlier, so y'all have this AKA wearing red today. So thank y'all for that. And I also want to thank the Metropolitan Business League for having me as well. And I think we're just going to have a dynamic conversation because we have a group of ladies, entrepreneurs on our panel today who are just making their mark in RVA and beyond. And as you said, I'm an entrepreneur, but I love hearing about other people's journey and their experience and just being this little sponge and just soaking up as much as I can. So I hope you're able to take away something from their journey and their experience. So let's get right to it and let's meet our panelists. We're going to start with Rauiesha Lewis and Beverly Agness. They're really new to this. They launched their business about 7 months ago. Rauiesha Lewis is a seasoned hairstylist and owner of Precious Place Salon, where she can listen, share, build, and uplift the women daily. Precious Place was named after Rauiesha's aunt, who passed away years ago from a result of domestic violence. And prior to opening her salon, Rauiesha worked in corporate America for 10 years before realizing her passions would take her on a different journey. Beverly Agness is a multifaceted, passionate entrepreneur who believes beauty is in everything. Beverly serves as a loft owner and master stylist at Couture Imaging Business Hub. Prior to her present ventures, she was the co-owner of La Shop Hair and Nail Salon for 13 years. Now together, Rauiesha and Beverly are the co-owners of a gift shop called A FeelsGood brand by Ra and B. Their mission is curate items for their store that make shoppers' hearts smile or feel fierce enough to strike her Wonder Woman pose. They carry trinkets, affirmations, energy, jewelry, candles, and greeting cards. Ladies, you can give us a wave. So our next panelist is Gwen Hurt. She is the founder of Shoe Crazy Wine. Shoe Crazy is a wine brand and distribution company with corporate headquarters in Richmond, Petersburg, Virginia, offering many varieties of wine created in California's Central Coast, North Coast, Washington State's Willamette Valley, and Michigan. Prior to launching Shoe Crazy Wines, Gwen was an executive for a Fortune 300 tech company based in China. She built a global organization of high-performance cross-cultural team members located in multiple countries. And it's been a busy day for Gwen. Give us a wave, Gwen. Good to see you. And our final panelist is Kelly Lemon, is a social entrepreneur consultant that is passionate about changing how people live Richmond, Virginia. Through Like the Fruit LLC, Kelly socially connects people through food, sports, arts, and education. Late 2018, she made her dream a reality and opened her social cafe, Urban Hang Suite, at 304 East Broad Street in historic Jackson Ward. She is also the host of the Richmond popular podcast, Coffee with Strangers. Got to do that one time, so thank you, Kelly. On the weekends, Kelly is making Virginia residents a little richer while supporting public schools K through 12 as the daytime draw show host of the Virginia Lottery. And most recently, Kelly is helping Black-owned businesses learn, grow, and own as a co-founder of the Jackson Ward Collective, LLC. Welcome, ladies. Hi, Kelly. So I'm just gonna throw out some questions and I'll just call on whomever to answer that question. Y'all ready to start this conversation?
We are ready.
So how did you know that you wanted to start a business and what that business was going to be? How did you know what the concept was? Did you start out, let's start with Kelly. Did you start out saying, you know what, I want to own a suite where we can just hang out?
No.
How did it start?
Not at all. It all organically happened because I had the opportunity to be in places where I was like, I can do that better. Well, why isn't this face here? There's no women at this. There's definitely no Black people at this. And so when I looked at the opportunities of what businesses were out there and the things that I loved and how I could make money, that's why I say I'm passionate about anything food, sports, arts, and education, because I figured out how those things could make me money and turn them into businesses. So no, not in a million years. Reba, to be honest, I thought I was going to be on ESPN somewhere, to be honest, but as as God has my plan for me. I know my purpose now, and it truly is that I am supposed to make sure that while I'm at these tables and have these opportunities, that I'm saying everybody in these rooms' names and these businesses and all these other things that are happening so that we can move our city, our state, our country forward in entrepreneurism, Black ownership, and things of that nature.
You know, one time I saw you speak, I heard you speak one time, Kelly, and said, sometimes we're not asked to be at the table. Sometimes you may have to build that table. I remember you said that.
Yeah, and you know what, Reba, I'm off of that now, because if we're not at the table, then you really don't need to have the event.
Mm.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at now. Like we're past the why wasn't I invited? Your thing is not right unless there is everybody's at the table. So
true. Yeah. So Gwen, tell me about your starting this. Did you always think, you know what, I want to start wines?
No, actually, I actually had a plan when I retired to own a vineyard and kind of coddle some grapes and, drink wine on the porch while I watched the vines grow. That was kind of the long-term dream. But I got into wine because of two challenging events. I was downsized from my job, the one that you just beautifully introduced. I built a team, and then they needed someone with an Ivy League degree to run it. So they let me go. Yeah. And so, but in IT, it's like that. It's 2 years from now, you may be downsized, right size, upsize, whatever. They always have a different, name for it. I happen to have been told, you just don't have the right pedigree to run the organization, because now it reports to the board of directors and the yearly journal. So they replaced me, and that was okay. I mean, it was a hit, but I wasn't down. 2 days later, me and my daughter were in a car accident, and that was a life-changing event. I had no job, and I was somewhat debilitated, well, very debilitated, as was my daughter. And so that was a life-changing event for me. And so instead of, just kind of staying in my room and letting the walls close in, and I kept thinking, I'm going to be one of those cat ladies with 500 cats and newspaper to the ceiling if I don't get the hell out of here. So I got up on my walker. I had a neck brace, a back brace. I could barely walk. I kind of toddled out and said to my daughter, we're going into the wine business. I don't know how we're going to get in, because Lord knows they gave me a buyout, but I didn't have enough money to buy a vineyard. And so I said to her, I'm going to figure it out, and we're going into the wine business. And she basically said, how many drugs did you get that I didn't get at the hospital? Because I want to know. All right, how are we doing wine now? And the only thing I knew about wine at the time was that I love to drink it. And, but I figured it out. So that was kind of how I got into wine. I got into the wine industry.
Very fascinating. All right, Beverly and Rauiesha, tell me how you just started 7 months ago.
Yes.
And a lot of feel-good products to make people feel, especially now and so timely. How did you get started?
I think we had a challenge. We have been talking about it amongst each other. Both of us are beauticians, of course, so we were out of work during the pandemic, and we kind of avoided each other during the pandemic because we just was like, I don't feel like putting my juju on her, and she don't want to put hers on me. And so we kind of finally had that conversation before it was time to go back to work. And we were just talking about, like, what is this pivot plan going to look like? Like, the industry is forever going to be different. And so she was sharing her idea with me, and I shared my idea with her, and they were just so similar. And I said, you know what? We need to collaborate. And so we kind of lollygagged around, played around, had a couple of meetings, and we weren't eventful, but we were passionate about it. And so we had a girlfriend, she overheard a conversation, and she challenged us to do a pop-up shop. And so we rose to the occasion. I think we had about maybe 2 months to kind of get everything together.
We didn't have a product.
We pulled it
didn't
together.
Have a logo or anything.
And
wow.
We just jumped out the window.
It felt good doing it. I think that when people got there and just was in the midst of it, I think the shoppers felt good shopping with us. And that's a FeelsGood's brand.
Yeah.
So how did you get your products? Do you make them yourself, or how did it come about?
A few items ourselves, but we found a distributor, and we just kind of curated everything. You know, some things were good, some things were bad, but luckily we've been able to really curate some decent products that people like, and they come back and it's good.
It was all on things that like Beverly or I like, and things that make us feel good. So initially, like the name was Ryan B. And when we had to describe our business, we just kept saying, I mean, well, you know, it's a little bit of this, it's a gift shop. I mean, anything that makes you feel good. And we just kept saying that, anything that makes you feel good. So we were just finding things that we like, we know girlfriends like. Beverly and I, we always connect with like different knickknacks and things and buying gifts in advance. Both of us buy gifts in advance for people. So I have stuff in my closet right now that my husband does not like, a little box, I have journals, everything. So it just started to mesh together. And we just go off of how we feel about things and we trust one another.
Yeah.
Love that. So when you finally have the idea of what you want to do, whether it's the trinkets, the wine, or open up your spot, Kelly, when you said it, jump out the window, when do you make that plunge? I mean, how scary is that to say, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it?
That's the number one reason people do not start their businesses, is because they are afraid. We get in our own way, right? I will say though, I feel like you'll know when it's right. And there is some planning to do. If you are deciding that this is something that you want to do full time, be realistic and look at your budget. You know, really see, can you afford to step away from this? And as I think we have majority women on this call, but still do what you love. Can I get my nails done? Can I get my hair done? Can I, you know, is my budget still right to do all of the things that still make you happy as you were going to step out on this faith? But then, you know, being realistic and looking at, has anybody done this before? I made sure that I connected with people that already owned a coffee shop, that already owned a restaurant. I have mentors in every field of what I do because I know somebody else did it before me. I'm going to pay homage to them, but I also want to make sure that they know I'm going to do it my own way. So I think the number one thing is to research, learn as much as you can about your business before you dive in. Then before you take that big step, make sure that you are financially stable to do so. You know, back in the day, you know, we used to just, you know, hustle until you couldn't anymore, you know, like you just didn't sleep. That's not necessarily the mentality anymore. I think that was causing a lot of stress and a lot of strife to our wellness and just, you know, trying to be all things, be superwoman. And so I think that we have to realistically look at a budget and see when we can do some things, have a village, have a lot of support. I would not be able to do this if I didn't have a village. And then while we're on this call, make sure you hook up with organizations like NBL because there are support and resources out there to help you through this process.
So true. So true. Gwen, let me ask you that same question. When did you decide, you know what, this is it? You make that plunge?
Like I said, I made the decision to go into wine on an emotional level.
Right.
And so I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Kelly said. I did not do research. I did not ask questions. And in doing so, I kind of jumped in with both feet. I had the money for it. So it wasn't a situation as to where I didn't have the money, but I didn't know the wine industry. I didn't know it was the most cutthroat, oh my God, undercutting industry you could go into, and that women weren't welcome and women of color definitely weren't welcome. And so I kind of learned that as I went, and I got taken advantage of. But the gentleman that I went into business with, eventually I was able to buy him out with the little bit of money that he had stolen from. Because I still wanted to be in this industry. And so to kind of piggyback what Kelly said, I didn't do all of those things. I didn't do any research, right? But I needed to do it because it was either stay in that room or get the hell out of it. Those were my choices. So sometimes your decision is an emotional one. We like to think that we can dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and check all the little boxes.
Right.
Sometimes you have to make a decision based on your emotional health. Okay, I lost my job. I cannot walk. I'm in rehabilitation. Do I just make this the rest of my life, or do I do something? You know, do I tell my daughter, you lost, you know, you got to have a hip replacement at 40, you know, give up? No, that's not what my mother raised. My mother didn't raise that type of child. And so I did jump in. I have, you know, learned a lot about wine. I don't know everything. but I know the underpinnings of the industry, and I can advise others what not to do. I can't advise them on everything. But one thing I've always said is exactly what Kelly just said: do your research if you're going into an industry. I don't think you have to have a full-time job and do this, your passionate thing on the side. For me, it's always been about shoe crazy. I didn't go back to work when I was offered my job back 100 times. Come back, please. No, I'm not coming back. This is what I'm doing. And the other thing is, don't use your own money. Don't use your own money. Use the bank's money when your credit rating is good. Don't use your own money. This is a female thing. Men very rarely use their own money to start a company. They will go to investment bankers, they'll go to the bank, they'll go to family. They rarely use their own money. Women are like, we're independent. I don't need any. Okay. And we start depleting our savings. And then you deplete your savings. You go to what? Your credit cards, right? Then the credit cards are maxed out. Now your credit rating is in the toilet. And now you're like, you can't get a loan because now you need a loan from the bank to keep going. And they're like, that 525 is not credit rating is not going to do it. So I tell women all the time, don't be proud and don't be prideful. Use somebody else's money to start your business and keep your savings right where it is as collateral. That is the biggest piece of advice I try to give women going into business.
Great advice. Someone just asked, can you talk about building business credit?
Yes, building business credit. Oh my goodness. It's a yeoman's chest when you've gotten it in the toilet. So you have to take it one step at a time. My brother was the one that told me. He said, get a credit card. I don't care if you have to pay for it. Use $25 on it a month, pay that $25 back until it starts to show a consistent payment, right? Because now there's no such thing as business and personal credit. They mailed it to you. Okay, so my business didn't have negative credit, but I did. So therefore my business does. So there's no separation of the two anymore. So when you say build business credit, I love when these financial advisors tell you that. It's an untruth or a half truth, I'll call it. You got to build your personal credit because they're going to look at that too. You know, and you start it one step at a time, one credit card at a time, and never close it. Never close it. Just don't use it anymore, but don't close it, because if you close a credit card account, it depletes your credit rating as well.
I want to go back to Beverly and Rauiesha real quick. Tell me about your, sorry, the phone's ringing there. Tell me about what made you finally decide that you're going to do this.
I think
it was more of a push by a friend, but I'll be honest. Well, that was like our first event, but I will say having Beverly as a partner is awesome, because during COVID, you know, everybody was trying to figure out what they were going to do and pivoting. And with a lot of stylists, like we couldn't be in the salon. We just couldn't have that contact. So Beverly actually pulled up on me. And what I mean by that is we kept talking about what we were going to do, like, and what our ideas was, and having meetings. And we didn't really put anything concrete down, like as far as we're going to open up our website, we're going to go ahead and buy product. And just one day out of the blue, my doorbell rung and Beverly was like, and that's our thing now, I need to lay my eyes on you. Like, cause we got to reconnect. You know, we got to make sure we're reconnecting, and I'm seeing you, you're seeing me, so we can get this thing going. I got to, and we do that. Like we just check in with each other. So I would say her coming to my house and saying, hey, we got to reconnect. I need to see your face. And what are we going to do? Having a partner has been a great thing, especially when you mesh well. So we hold each other accountable. And after that, and after someone just saying, I'm going to challenge you guys to be in our pop-up shop, we just put their pedal to the metal. I mean, we just went very aggressive with everything. And it's been a beautiful thing. We've done research, a lot of things we've been figuring out on our own. And I would say what Kelly, we've had just counselors and things to help us, because we've both been entrepreneurs and are entrepreneurs, but this is just a totally different baby for us. It's something we have not experienced before. So it feels like we're just starting new,
Mhm.
You know, so, and we have, even though we both been salon owners, we reached out and we use resources to kind of help us and remind us and just guide us through. And that's actually helped a lot because we know a lot, but this is different.
It's different.
It feels totally different.
It's
Mhm.
totally different. New space.
And like you said, like a baby, like you take care of the baby. You really
A
do.
newborn
It
baby.
is.
Yep. You got
So
a
someone asked about is it a pop-up shops? Where can people find you?
Well, actually, we do pop-up shops. We have one coming up this weekend at the Jolene Winery. So that's where we'll be. The information is on our social media page. But we also have a website. And so we definitely want people to go to the website and place orders and, just connect.
Subscribe.
However, yeah.
And so are you totally e-commerce? Is that
We are totally e-commerce. However, both of us we work in a salon space, so we do hair that's our primary occupation. So both of us have like retail stations set up in our salons. So the beautiful thing about it is our customers have been so supportive. I know I have clients, they sit and they get their hair done and they like, give me that bracelet right there. I want that. Give me that. I need a stone. I had a bad day. So it's really been a great addition. Traditionally stylists, we sell retail products, for your hair. But for me, that always sat on the shelf.
Good.
But like the bracelets that we carry and the little sage that we carry, I really have a high sell-through. So we've been so blessed.
That's great.
Yep.
So my next question is, now you have the idea, you took the plunge, how do you market the business? You have it, so how do you make sure everybody else knows about it? How do you market?
You definitely social media. Oh, is that for us or for?
Anybody can take it. We're just gonna start with you.
Oh, we use social media. That's for one.
Word of mouth has been
great, because with us being stylists, we know a lot of women.
Mm.
So our word of mouth has been really, really good. We both probably reconnected with old customers, our existing customers. So that's been the other major thing. And then our pop-up shops, we get to meet great people at our pop-up shops. So that's been good as well.
What about you, Gwen? Oh, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. We use social media a lot, local radio, TV, ads as well. We advertise in magazines when we can. So we try to use the spectrum. We actually also had billboards when they're on sale. We will, do some billboards because that's a very expensive endeavor, but it's a quick hit to your sales. Right. So when we put the billboards up, we see the foot traffic go up a lot more in the stores. And the same thing during holidays, we do the radio promos and stuff like that. So my daughter, Brittany, actually, and Steven Sykes, they do our social media, and we kind of amped it up a lot. And then we do, when pre-COVID, wine tastings in the stores. And now that, things are opening up, we're back to doing wine tastings in the stores. So that's kind of how we build on it. Mm-hmm.
And we can find your wine where?
You can find us in Sam's Club, Total Wine, Walmart's, Food Lions, the Coast Guards, Navy Exchanges, Andrews, Market at 25th. We're in 5 states by the end of the year. My goal is to be in 22 states by the end of the year. We're working towards that. We're opening up Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky, Alabama, California. So we've got a lot on our plate in terms of scaling what we're doing. So so that if you go into a Sam's Club or a Walmart or a Total Wine in Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Maryland, any of those places, you'll find our wines.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Kelly, how about you?
I think everybody has said it. I mean, social media is my platform. I was blessed to get on social media before, like it blew up kind of like while I was in it. And so that is 100%, well, not 100%. Majority of the marketing that we use for our businesses is through social media, but it does pay to be on the radio sometimes, and have your name be associated. It's a good and a bad to have your name associated with your businesses. I often see radio personality Kelly Lemon, owner of the Urban Hang Suite. I mean, like, you don't need all of that in the beginning, just, Urban Hang Suite. So, social media is our number one avenue that we use.
So when you start a business, it is not going to be a smooth road. You're going to hit these bumps along the way. What do you think has been the biggest challenge or adversity for all of you in this journey that you're on? How about you, Gwen? You want to start?
Yeah, for me, it's been about being a woman and a woman of color in an industry that doesn't welcome you. The good part about going in on an emotional level is I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was going to be, okay, misogynist, racist, you name it, you have it. And, to really believe in the product that you have and have someone berate you and belittle you. And you have to be very strong and not take any of this stuff personally. But it was mind blowing to me, the amount of misogynism that was in it when a man tells you to get down on your knees and beg him to put your product on his shelf. It's like, honey, I bend my knee to no man. I'm gonna take this little card and I'm gonna get up on out of here, okay? Right. Because you would never tell a man something like that coming in to sell you something. And the other thing in the industry that I learned is that a lie is very acceptable. Now, I was raised not to tell a lie unless you're gonna save somebody's life. My mother's like, if you're gonna save somebody's life, you tell that lie, or you need to save your own. But for the most part, you try to be above board, okay, and honest about who you are and what you do, and you walk in your truth, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the narrative is rewritten in this industry. It is pretty much acceptable for someone to lie to you consistently and be okay with it. And so I've had to learn to operate within that world, which is might be telling me the truth, might not, and continuing to, grow and move forward and scale my business. But that was mind-boggling to me that it's acceptable. Wow. And the amount of racism and misogynism that's in this industry towards women and women of color. Mm-hmm.
Beverly and Rauiesha, you want to take that as well? Adversity challenge for you?
I think for me is learning all of the new systems that you have to have in place for a retail business. I think operating behind a chair, your main thing is to make sure that you're managing your book, making sure that you have stock, to making sure that you have your product. Mm-hmm. But I think with a retail business, you definitely have to make sure that you're looking at your spreadsheet, you're looking at your financials, you're doing your bookkeeping. It's a whole lot of record keeping. It's a whole lot of behind the scenes work that makes the front work look easy. So just kind of putting those systems in place, they're a challenge. I welcome the challenge, but it's been hard work.
What about you, Kelly?
I think, like Gwen was saying, she jumped into the industry without doing any research. And because I literally sat down, I'll shout him out, AJ Brewer's Cafe. He sat down and told me exactly what not to do, or the things that were going to be my roadblocks. And I mean, he was spot on. So I think that I had to learn about patience. It was not going to move the way that I wanted it to move just because I was ready for it to move. When you open up a brick and mortar business, you could get held up at zoning. And then if you're held up at city zoning, then you're held up with the health department. If you're held up with the health department, then you're held up with ABC. Everything goes in an order and you're on someone else's time, and time is money. And so that was the biggest thing for me to learn, is to make sure that once I got A, that I was ready to go with B, because if I wasn't ready to go with B, when it got time to go to C, I might be spending some unnecessary money along the way. So just to be able to kind of have some patience, have some grace, but also to know that things may not go always as planned.
As planned. Let's talk about mentorship and talk about it from people who mentored you. And do you mentor the others who are coming through as well? Who wants to start? Beverly and Rauiesha, you want to start?
Mentorship. I think we really have been figuring this thing out.
Business wise, I think the both of us have been mentors in our other field in being beauticians, being salon owners. But I will say, like Kelly said, MBL, this is just totally different for us. So I think that speaking with the mentors and the coaches has been very enlightening. And it's crazy because it's some things that we know, but we really are acting like we are like in new water and going over things and just seeing how all the small things are so important with this. And it goes back to like what Kelly said, like you really have no control over certain things. You got to be patient. So we appreciate MBL being mentors for us and talking with us. But as far as for us being mentors to anyone else with this baby, we haven't done that yet, but we can definitely speak on being salon owners.
Yeah.
We both had stylists and mentees underneath of us, and still have connections with them and just guiding them and being able to be there. It's all about like a sisterhood.
Mhm.
And sometimes you can like mentor or be there for somebody that is not in the same field as you, but just giving them a helping hand, answering questions
Absolutely.
you may not know about starting a business. So it's just all about paying it forward. And we just have to continue to do that, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially as women. What
Yeah.
about you, Kelly? Because you've been in the game for a long time. Who has mentored you, and are you doing the same in terms of mentoring others?
Yeah. So again, I shouted out AJ Brewer, Kendra Feather. She, if you know anything about the Richmond restaurant scene, the Roosevelt, Laura Lee's, I mean, she literally has held my hand and put me in some rooms that I'm forever grateful for. Lester Johnson, come on, Mama J's is where, and the whole Eggleston family is how I started my hospitality career in Jackson Ward too, and then made me love Jackson Ward. Yes, I still call people. And then I also have women business owners with Richmond Black Restaurant Experience and the Jackson Ward Collective. Each one of us are completely different. We all have our own jobs and our own ways of going. And so I think we kind of in a weird way lean on each other for mentorship as well. For our individual businesses, we kind of give some tough love about things that we should be doing or not do.
Mm-hmm.
I, of course, worked at VCU for 14 years. So I have mentored. I had enough. I've had plenty of students. My students still call me now and say, boss lady, can we please just, pick your brain? And I laugh at them now and say I started a business for that now. So Jackson Ward Collective is how that happens. But yeah, when I can, and especially, and Reba, you may understand this, women that want to get on that mic, women that want to, learn how to, talk in front of a large audience. I'm ready to pass that to the next. And so I've been very vocal about, if there's anyone that wants to learn that industry, I'm welcome to train.
Very good. Very good. Thanks, Kelly. What about you, Gwen?
Well, I do mentor women, and I've always done that. It's always been a thing for me. Even when I was in corporate, I've always mentored. I've always had mentors as well. But in the industry that I'm in now, because I needed to start to scale my business, and I opened up Shoe Crazy Wine North Carolina, Shoe Crazy Wine Georgia. So moving outside of the Virginia area, I needed to speak to someone who had done this before. And so David Grogan actually was a mentor of mine. He actually started many years ago selling to Lowe's and Home Depot and things like that. And he said to me, the best time of your life is going to be scaling your business, and the worst time of your life is going to be scaling your business, because everything that can go wrong will go wrong as you start to scale up. And Lord knows he was right. Nino DeSapio, the CFO of Snagajob, also my mentor, because I look for mentors not on the wine side so much, because there's a lot of folks you can talk to about it. But I was looking more from a financial perspective. How do I get Shoe Crazy from point A to point Z, and in multiple states? Some as a distributor. I don't think I told everyone, because no one would pick my wines up and I was not welcome in Richmond, the whole Richmond, community, no one wanted my wines, and the distributors didn't want to distribute my wine. So I became a distributor myself and started distributing my wines. So I
Wow.
own distribution companies in multiple states now because of that. So sometimes when people tell you no, and they say you're not what we're looking for, it can inspire you to go another route. I would have never become a distributor of wines. I actually create wines for other women. I put, Benita Johnson, who owns Divine Wine Club, her wines are now in in Total Wine. They're in the market at 25th. They're in Kroger. They're going into Kroger. I'm taking her into North Carolina and Georgia, and I make a peach wine for another lady out of Atlanta. So it's not all about me. So I mentor other women in the industry from that perspective. But if you want to scale and grow your business, you need to talk to somebody that knows finance. You need to talk to someone that understands. I know the compliance side of wine. I know that every state is like a country, a European country. They all have their own rules and regulations. So when I tell people, when you look at a mentor, look for someone that can fill in the gaps. There's another key component for women that we don't ever think about. And I did this in corporate as well. Look for a champion. A mentor is somebody you can talk to about how to get things done. A champion will kick a door open for you and drag you through it. I've been a mentor, and more importantly, I've been a champion, right? So I'm a champion of women of color, of women in general, in wine. So I'm kicking doors open, not just for me, but I'm the champion for those other brands that, we're developing. And I tell anybody that's in business, a mentor is sweet and good to have. You need a champion. You need somebody that says, there's an opportunity here, and I'm going to make sure that you get it. A mentor will not do that for you. A mentor is there to help you build your strategy and build your plan. A champion, you only want to hear from him when they got something. And they used to go, okay, Gwen, I got a job here in Asia. You want it? I want it. You got it. That's a champion. They're going to open that door for you. My mentor is like, oh, this is going to be a great opportunity. Here's what you need to do. And here's how you need to set yourself up and blah, blah, blah. So I always tell women, you need a mentor and you need a champion. And with that, even in industry, corporate, or building your own business, you need both.
Love that. So ladies, we are running out of time. I'm going to give you one question. If you can just kind of give me a couple words to answer this question. What is one thing or one piece of advice you would tell another woman who wants to start a business? Best advice you can give that person who is interested in starting a business.
Can I take that one? I would say, is it a passion or, yeah, I'll even go back. I have a friend that used to say to me, do you need something or do you want it? There's a difference. Do you need it or do you want it? In business, and you want to start a business, are you passionate about it or do you want to do it because you feel you should? Or it's an opportunity to do it. Passion is going to take you through when things are tough and bad, right? When you have no money and you go, oh my God, why did I even do this? Passion is going to keep you going. Okay, so you need to really define what it is you want. Do you want a side gig or do you want to make this your career? So you take it, you may start it as a side gig and it may forever be your side gig. Is what I do. But if you want to grow and scale a business, that's something totally different. So you have to decide between the two. That would be my best piece of advice.
How about you, Kelly?
Sorry, my Wi-Fi's been going a little weird over here. So if I'm going in and out, I apologize. I think that my best piece of advice, if I'm hearing the question completely, when going into business is take a chance, honey. Take a chance. That's my advice. I say go for it.
Yes.
Do it, and especially if you're a woman, especially if you're a Black woman, we out here cheering for each other right now. So this is the opportunity to kind of test things, especially when you have the support. I don't think we're going to have the support for long when it comes to corporate organizations throwing money into businesses like Jackson Ward Collective and NBL and chamber associations to support Black businesses. So take a chance while the opportunity is there to at least just get your feet wet.
I think I'm.
Thank you, Kelly.
Oh,
Can you hear us? Okay.
I'm with both Gwen and Kelly. Keep going. Just do it. it's gonna be late nights, early mornings. You might not get sleep. You might live on coffee, but just do it. Make yourself
Drama
proud.
movies.
Make the people around you proud. Just do it.
Just do it.
I would
Yeah.
say to work for yourself like you work for them.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
just go hard for yourself. We will go hard for somebody else when we're on
Everybody
somebody's
else.
clock
Yep.
and their paycheck.
Mhm.
And then for
Go
ourselves,
hard for yourself.
we just don't go so hard. Go as hard for yourself as you do for those other people.
That's right. That's
So
right.
true. Ladies, y'all were wonderful. Thank you so much for your honesty. And this has been eye-opening and just inspirational. So thank you so much for
I appreciate
being
it.
here today. So I want to turn it over now to Chandra.
All right. Well, wow. That's all I can say. You guys did an amazing job. Reba, thank you for moderating this discussion. Very informative. I feel like I'm friends with Ra and B. I just love your energy and just your feel good brand. I just feel it coming in my house right now. So I just thank you. Gwen, I've heard your story before, but it never gets old. I mean, your tenacity, your stick-to-itiveness. I mean, and you bringing other people up. You talked about being a mentor and also coach. I also call it advocate. So the advocates in the room talking on your behalf, and when you're not even in the room, they're putting
When you're not in
that
the
good
room,
energy
right.
in it for you. So thank you for sharing that. And Kelly Soror, you doing it, girl. She said, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
You take the chance, but you also did some homework in the process. And not everybody does that, but you did your homework. And you know, you have MBL, like Kelly and Ra and B said. MBL is a great opportunity for you to get that learning, to get those nuts of both. And I'm a banker, so I know it. When you talked about credit, keeping your personal credit is paramount. They want to see what type of what's your input, what is your capital investment, what is your input in the game. They want to know, if I'm going to give your business a loan, how did you manage your personal credit? Use their money. So definitely, you know, you all speak in my language. You know, I'm a community relations person, but I'm a banker to the heart. So definitely leverage all those resources. You know, and I love the sisterhood. I'm just feeling the love here. And like you said, Kelly, it is time for BIPOC businesses to get the funding they need. We are all over that right now. Like I said in those statistics, we are being hurt the most. If nothing else, this pandemic has put a spotlight on African Americans who are suffering. So take advantage. They have no reason now to not put their money where their mouth is. So if you are interested, take the leap, as these ladies have shared. You've had some great nuggets that you've had today. And I just, like I said, applaud you guys for just doing it and just doing everything well. Please, at this time, ladies, put your information in the chat so we can make sure that everyone knows how to get in touch with you. I know Ra and B, you all have an event coming up. Please put your information in chat. Kelly, put your information. Gwen, put your information in chat so we can know how to reach you. And if they call you and want some help, please answer the phone and talk to these ladies. But I know you will, because this was the platform for us to do that. And also, we want to hear from the audience in the room. We want to make sure that you got something out of this. So we're going to put the survey in the chat, because that helps us to improve. And it sounds like we probably need a part 2. So we'll be partnering with MBL in the future to look at how can we bring this, bring more information to you. So please, please, please put the information in the chat. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Scott Tessa. And we're going to have one additional door prize. And Scott Tessa, go take it from here.
Wonderful. First, let me go back and just, Lisa, I'm so sorry. You are the chair of the Economic Development Committee. So let me make sure I clarify that, Economic Development Committee, and make sure I did that. And this was excellent. Excellent. And yes, I felt the sisterhood. Everyone is there to help you. So please. And if you've never been to any of the events with the Metropolitan Business League, whether it's the Remarkable Women's Luncheons or the Women Who Mean Business Summit, we have a nice little coalition of women that really help each other. So the MBL is there for you, and we will be there for you. Somebody also put a question in the chat in reference to the DUNS number. That is your Dun and Bradstreet number. You do need to have a DUNS number. It is important because of the fact that that is your business credit is looked at through your DUNS number. So, and especially if you want to get into federal contracting, you're gonna have to have a DUNS number. So that's really important to know about is that. Now, also, if you have other questions, the MBL is here for you. That is what we do. So please feel free to reach out to us. I know Floyd is on. Floyd would love for you to be calling the office. Allison is also on. So please call the office. We love to work with you. We do have another door prize that we're going to give out. But before that door prize, it would be remiss of us if we did not take one quick moment and talk about the woman that was our Woman of the Year 2 years ago, who just passed away on us, and that is Adele Johnson. And anybody who knew Adele knew that she was really in for business, and she did so much with CVM SDC. And just if you needed an ear, a listening ear to talk to, she was always there for you. And so we just want to take a moment, and what she did with the Black History Museum and bringing it forward is amazing. And so we just want to take a moment to give accolades to a woman who really did a lot. And she was quiet, but gentle and strong, and always was a lady at every turn. So we're just thankful that she passed our way, and her legacy will definitely live on for years to come. So we just wanted to take a moment to at least mention Adele and all that she has done, because we are going to miss her, but her legacy lives on with all of us. So we are just really happy and excited just be able to take this opportunity to talk about such a beautiful person. Now we have that last drawing. Derek, are you ready? I don't see the wheel. The last drawing is for MBL membership, a free MBL membership. And Derek is coming. All right, let's spin the wheel. And the winner is...
We promise this is not rigged. We promise it's not rigged. Again, we'll spin again.
No,
There we go. Hey,
Addison, we will definitely have your information and reach out to you for your MBL membership. We are so excited. And thank you to all of our panelists that y'all did an awesome job tonight. We're so thankful for all that you did. Gwen, you're always amazing. You know, we always laugh. Gwen is like my other cousin that we joke about that all the time. Both of us married into the Hurt name.
Hurt family.
wow.
Yes. So we are so excited that everything you did, and we're so good. And Reba, thank you as always. You always do a wonderful job.
Thank you for having us.
With that, we will say good night.
Yes, and we'll have a little music for you guys. And I'm almost in the Hurt family. I just added an S for her. So
There you go.
we're all sisters in here together. But
Yes,
we're gonna put the survey in the chat, have a little music just to let you go. But please complete the survey. We want to know how we can improve upon this experience for you and what you want to look for next times. So again, thank you guys for being here. We went over just a tad bit, but that's, you know, we were having good, healthy conversation. So I hope you guys don't mind. Again, hang around for a little bit, put your information in the chat. If you see someone, you know, send them a private chat to reconnect and take this opportunity to complete the survey. Have a great night and level up.
Thank you.